Did you know that some Egyptians left Egypt with the Israelites during the Exodus, and that one of them is later mentioned by name specifically in the scriptures? I find this to be very interesting, and I think you'll find this person's identity to be very interesting. So don't go anywhere. Welcome to Thus Saith the Lord. I'm Gene Lloyd, and I came across a verse recently that I've never really noticed before that I think you'll find interesting. We have this verse in 1 Chronicles 4:17, where right in the middle of these genealogical charts, we get this statement. These are the sons of Bithiah, daughter of Pharaoh, whom Mered married. Now, what is Pharaoh's daughter doing with the Israelites? And why is she listed in Scripture? Okay, before we dig into that, do me a favor, click like and subscribe and follow. I want to get this content out to more people, and I'd really love your help in doing that. Okay, so what's Pharaoh's daughter doing there? Why is she in this passage? You know, something we don't usually think about when we think about the Exodus is we don't think about whether or not anyone else went with the Israelites. We just assume the plagues occurred, they were released, they crossed over the dry land, they made it to the other side, and that's kind of where the story with Egypt ends. But the Bible gives us some clues that there might have been some other people with them. This passage in Chronicles is one of those, and it's probably the best one that we have. Now, an account just 2 chapters earlier, we see another verse about a man who had a daughter who was not married, and he had a male Egyptian slave, and so he gave the daughter to the male Egyptian slave in marriage, and so they got married. And so again, we might think, well, wait, what's an Egyptian slave doing with the Israelites? Why is that even happening? Why was that even there? Where did this Egyptian slave come from? Did he come later on? Was he there from the beginning after they left Egypt? Like what's that story? We don't have any more context there, but we do have that mention of an Egyptian. And then there's a verse in Exodus which is much closer to the actual leaving of Egypt, where it says this in Exodus chapter 12 verse 38. It says, a mixed crowd also went up with them, and livestock in great numbers, both flocks and herds. Well, who was this mixed crowd? They were getting ready to leave, or they were leaving, and it says a mixed crowd went up with them. So that tells us it was more than just Israelites. So theologians and historians have proposed different kind of possibilities to who this mixed crowd was. Some say it was people from other nationalities who were also enslaved in Egypt. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Some say that there were Egyptians who were, for some reason, celebrated the Passover with the Israelites, and they actually, commingled with them at times. And then we have another historical account where possibly the Pharaoh kicked all the handicapped Egyptians out of the main part of the city and kicked them down into like the lower areas where the Israelites likely would have lived. So there's a possibility that there was already different groups of people all living together, that it wasn't just the Israelites living in Goshen by themselves, but that others may have already been living there as well. And there's the possibility that there was already some intermarriages taking place. And so if that was the case, then it would make sense that some of these other people who were already hanging out with the Israelites would have left with them. Now, Jewish literature proposes that this woman in Chronicles, Bithiah, is the same woman who found Moses in the river. She's the same one who pulled him out and became his mother and raised him. Well, that's interesting. We'd have to kind of work out the timelines and see if that fits. We don't really know. But that's what Jewish literature proposes, and it also suggests that she left her father's religion. She left the idol worship behind. She left the Egyptian kind of religious process behind. She changed sides and began to hang out with the Israelites more. Well, that's also very interesting. But the big picture, I think, here that makes it so interesting to me is that if this is the case, then God saved more than just Israelites. He saved other people too during the Exodus. And I think that's really cool because that fits with the heart of God, that He's always looking to save people. It's also interesting that if these Egyptians left with the Israelites, then they must have shifted their allegiance to the one true God. They must have shifted away from the Egyptian religious beliefs. Okay? So take a look at my article. It's linked below. I go a little bit deeper. I give you some citations and references and things you can follow if you want to go deeper into this topic. But I think it's a fun topic. So, thus saith the Lord, the Israelites probably did not leave Egypt by themselves. Others likely went with them. And so I hope you learned something new today. I hope you find this interesting. Not a pivotal topic, but it's kind of a fun one to think about. So I'd love to see your comments below. Did you already know this about Pharaoh's daughter? Did you know she was in Chronicles already? And what do you think about that? What are the implications there? Okay, I'll see you next time.